So if you saw the title, of course you saw the title of this video, and you don't have chronic illnesses, don't leave yet. It's not all about chronic illnesses. It's also about people with limited ability or mental ability. Maybe it's time, maybe it's your time in life, that there could be many reasons. Or you just are introverted and you don't want to be with a lot of people. Who knows what your stage is. So these tips, these ways that I cope could also apply to you. And I would also challenge you, if you don't have any of those limitations, that you could do much better at this business than I can, because you would have a lot more ability, time, energy, to do things that you could outpace me very fast if you had the determination. However, those of us with chronic illnesses and issues, we have such limited energy and time. It helps us to have a laser focus on things that we want to do, because we know that we don't have time to spend things on things that aren't going to move us forward, right? So, okay, let's get into it. I was just sorting out some postcards here. I have been going through 6 boxes of postcards. These are the last of my backstock that I have been able to find. And I was actually thinking, while I sort here, I don't know about you, but when you're doing mundane tasks, your mind kind of travels somewhere. I had some thoughts on how I managed having my eBay business while going through having several chronic illnesses. And just a refresher, I have rheumatoid arthritis, Sjogren's, Raynaud's, and probably a few other undiagnosed, but we don't, my doctor's convinced there's stuff that we haven't figured out yet. Every day, I don't know what my energy level, my pain level, my fatigue, my brain fog, I don't know what it's going to be like every day. I have a few things that I've done to make it more manageable. First, let's start about picking something. Now, I was really fortunate to kind of stumble into postcards. They're small, they're lightweight, and they're very collectible. So it's been working well for me, because I really needed something that I could have easily to ship, easy to pick up, easy to just manage all around. I can take just a second. This is my sales stack from the weekend. It's probably close to $200 in here. And it's easy for me to just carry with one hand and just take to the mailbox very easily. I basically try to do this by myself and not rely on somebody else, but appreciate the help of other people. So most of this, I just want it to be my own thing that I'm doing. If you are considering the same thing, then think about what kind of small things that you like. One thing to think about is you want to enjoy what you're selling too, because there are other easily managed items other than postcards. You could do stamps, you could do trading cards, you could do jewelry. You can even do stuffed animals because they're lightweight, or you can do clothes, pins, buttons, whatever. There's so many things. Or don't do any products at all. You could do physical products. You could do digital products. Everybody is going to be different in their abilities. You may not be like me. You might be more active than me or less active. So you have to cater to what works for you. Okay, so another thing along the line is sourcing. If I wanted to, I wouldn't have to leave the house at all to get postcards. I could just buy large lots online. I could go to online estate sales, auctions. I could order in bulk on eBay and have them delivered all to my door. Of course, you're paying shipping, but then there's gas and time away. So I could conceivably never have to leave my house for my job, working with my eBay items. When I do go out, I try to make sure that I have the right amount of energy. I prepare so that if I get tired or fatigued, that I have the tools that I need to be able to get through that. When I go to like estate sales, I don't go the first day of an estate sale or the first hours unless I really have something. They really have something that I want. I did that in a video, I think last summer, that I went on the first day because I had postcards. But ironically, I was the only one that bought the postcards because I bought the rest of them at half price time. I know maybe a few of them went to somebody else, but I got the majority of them. Like to go on the half price day because there's a lot still there. And like I said, around here, apparently there's not a lot of people buying ephemera. Ephemera is also a lot vastly undervalued at estate sales. You only have like 1 weekend to get rid of a house full of stuff. So they only there's a lot of times where there'll be folders of things. I've had bins, I've had notebooks or boxes of ephemera, albums that I don't pay more than $5 or $10 for them, and I one item from that lot will pay for the whole thing. So I'm fortunate in that. Of course, now that I'm talking about that, somebody else might come along and be my competition, but that's the way it goes, I guess. All right, another thing that I do to cope with having chronic illnesses and doing my business is that I don't check my eBay messages until after I'm awake and had my breakfast and coffee. That's my heater that just kicked on. It's 30. We got 30 below wind chills, so it's a little chilly in here. Sorry if that bothers you, but I need to survive. So I deliberately don't check my messages until I'm mentally ready. Because let's face it, if someone's sending you a message through eBay, it's usually not to say a thank you and you're a wonderful person, right? A lot of times it's lowball offers, saying I will offer you $3 for your $10 postcard. And like, really? I don't want to wake up to that because I often do. When I wake up, I often scroll through my phone because I usually wake up in different levels of pain every day, and sometimes it takes me a while to say, okay, I gotta get up. So I often find myself checking a little bit out, see if I got any sales on eBay, but I will not check my messages. I learned my lesson because then I get like instantly stressed, especially if it's somebody saying, I never received it, I want a refund. And normally, once I'm awake and mentally capable of stuff, it doesn't bother me. I'm just like, okay, here's your tracking number, it should be there, or whatever. But when I'm not quite awake, I don't want to wake up that way. That makes sense. And because a big thing about having chronic illnesses is that stress is a real big enemy of how I feel. It can wipe me out for at least a day and give me a lot of physical pain to be under stress. So I really try to avoid it. And another way that I manage the business with several chronic illnesses is by having a 2-day shipping policy. I always do my best to try to get it out in 1 day, but I like to have a little extra leeway because of the reasons that I mentioned, where I might have a bad day. And like today, we have a 30 below wind chill. If I'm not having a good day, I'm not going to want to step outside that door and go and bring my mail out. So then I would just say, okay, I'll just package them up and they'll go out tomorrow. And another reason is I live very rurally out here in Montana, and every once in a while we won't get mail for a little bit if the mail person is sick or on vacation. Something happened. There's some times where it's like, I haven't gotten mail for the last couple of days. I better go in and see what's going on because sometimes it just doesn't get delivered or picked up. I need that extra day so people's expectations are managed. However, I have a lot of people that say on their feedback that it was super fast shipping. So I think it also helps to be in the middle of the country because it's equally distanced to all states. So that helps too, I think. The big thing here, which is kind of permeates everything, is I plan ahead now for later flare-ups. And how I do that is to make sure that I'm organized, make sure I have my supplies ready and handy. I'm planning ahead, like getting my thermal printer. When I printed out this stack of labels for today, it was like, I kept going. I'm like, it's so nice that I don't have to cut these out and tape them because that takes a lot of time. Believe me, it does. Anybody with chronic illnesses know that you have to plan ahead for the other times that you're not going to be able to function. And along with that is I only list when I don't have a lot of brain fog, because that's probably when I have put those upside down scans of cards, misspelling. Maybe it isn't, but let's just blame it on the brain fog. Try not to do the things that need more brain power when I am not at my best. And then I have set aside other things for when I am not doing well. And such as right here. I can do this while I'm talking. I'm just sorting. I am actually working on a project that is going to deal with a lot of these cards that aren't worth a lot, that I don't really want to list by themselves. I'll tell you about that project later. You can probably guess what I'm doing, but anyways, I'll explain more later. I think one of the biggest things that has helped is to let go of the idea of what a stay-at-home business is supposed to look like. There's times when I actually don't get going in the morning till like 10, 11 a.m. And then to some people it feel like, what's the point? Half the day is over. But then I get my stuff done, and then sometimes I'm up till 2, 3 a.m. I am very in tune with how my body is doing and what it takes to do the things I need to do. Because if I overdo it, then it takes more time, because I have to have a recovery period that's probably longer than what the task actually takes if I overdo it. I have goals of how many that I want to list every day or every week. It doesn't have to be every day, because there are some days where I can barely get anything listed, and there are some days where I list like 100 or something. And the last thing I'm going to share is that, I mentioned that I want to have this business run basically by me, and so I can be a little independent and have my own thing that I'm doing. And my husband has his own job. It's just us two in this house. But there are times when it's good to have a companion or a helper. And that would be like when I went to the flea market last year. So it was very helpful to have my husband there, because he could drop me off at the entrance, park who knows where in the back 40, back 80 here maybe. If you don't have a spouse, maybe it's a friend, or you just have to make those preparations yourself, knowing that you're probably just plan on having a flare-up when you go into those things. If I had been by myself, I probably would have used my handicap permit for parking. That's what it's there for. That's another thing, is to accept help, is to accept those things that are available to us, such as the handicap permit. And other things. I do have a cane. I haven't had to use it for maybe a month or so. Okay, now it's your turn. Did I miss a tip or a way to cope? I probably did, because there's probably a lot of other ones that I'm not thinking of right now. So let me know below if there are other ways or other adaptations that you do, and please share them so we can share with each other about how we cope with this. And another video I might make, if you're interested in, is how I chose to do this, how I chose to be a reseller, online reseller, about all the things that I could do and why postcards. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a joyful day. Goodbye.